Hello everyone, I'm Terry Nealey, your 16th District State Representative. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. We're now into the final days of the scheduled 105-day legislative session. Although we are scheduled to adjourn April 24th, that happens to be Easter Sunday, so I expect the final day will be either Friday or Saturday before Easter. Several days ago, House Democrats presented a two-year, $32.4 billion state operating budget. Protesters came to Olympia and stormed into the House gallery protesting so-called cuts in the state budget. The fact remains, however, that this budget would spend $2.1 billion more in the coming 2 years than the previous 2 years. I favored a plan by House Republicans that would not only spend less, but would prioritize spending with the top priorities being education, public safety, and protection of the state's most vulnerable population. I have concerns that the House Democrat budget continues the old habits of the past. It relies on unsustainable budget gimmicks that are just band-aids to the problem and only create a temporary balance. For example, it includes a $240 million one-day payment delay for K-12 education, which would push that shortfall from the current biennium into the next budget cycle. In addition, it would lease out operation of the state's liquor warehouse operation for 20 years to a private firm in exchange for $300 million upfront cash. The long-term loss of revenue to the state from this scheme would be enormous, about an 80% reduction. We would have to pay back $60 million for the next 20 years for that upfront cash. In addition, the House Democrat budget would let criminals out of prison early. By contrast, our House Republican budget proposal would allocate an additional $10 million for the increased security at our state correctional facilities, including the state penitentiary at Walla Walla. Plus, our budget would not provide for early release. We offered our budget in the House Ways and Means Committee, but the majority party chose its own spending plan. It was voted out of the House on Saturday, April 8th, and sent to the Senate for further consideration. Because of all the concerns I listed, I voted no. I came here to help put our state budget back on a sustainable direction. This budget proposal continues to kick the can down the road, and that means we will be struggling with the outcome of this spending plan long into the future. While we have major disagreements with the operating budget, I am pleased to report we are working to come to a bipartisan agreement on the state's capital construction budget. The $3.1 billion construction budget focuses on job creation and fully funds $390 million in statewide K-12 construction needs. In the 16th District, more than $13 million is provided for local projects, including money for repairs and improvements at Walla Walla Community College and Columbia Basin College. The capital budget also contains $2.4 million for improvements at the Walla Walla VA nursing home facility. We have yet to vote on the final capital budget, but I expect that will happen shortly. Finally, the Senate has approved my bill that would allow civil judgments to be imposed against inmates who assault correctional officers. House Bill 1334 would set aside between 15% to 20% of earnings from inmates who have assaulted an officer. Inmates are compensated for working within the prison walls, but they don't make very much money. Correctional officials say the most effective way to deter inmates from assaulting prison guards is by hitting them in the pocketbook. The Senate added a small amendment to the bill, so it must come back to the House for final passage. I expect the measure will be on its way to the governor very soon. Unless we go into a special session, this will likely be my last legislative video update this year. I want to take a moment to thank you for your calls, emails, letters, and personal visits to my office. They have made a big difference, and they also remind me how humbled I am to be here at the state capitol on your behalf, and what an honor it is to serve you. After session, I will be reopening my district offices in Walla Walla and Pasco. I invite you to visit my website for more information. You will see the address on your screen. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. I'm your State Representative, Terry Nealey.